employment. We are going to start with W2 actually. So we just finished with the pay stubs, but still if you have any questions regarding pay stub, regarding any frequency or any wages related or calculation related information, you can simply ask any question. I will try to give answer according to best of my knowledge. Okay, you can comment, you can send me email, or you can send me through WhatsApp. You know how to do that. And thank you for sending me so much responses. Not even you, but I am also getting a lot of information through your comments, through your emails, as well as through your WhatsApp. So please keep doing that. Let's start with the topic. When it comes to W2, what does it state that why we need, what is the need of W2? Let's understand that first. So when it comes to W2 or wages number 2 statement, throughout the year when we work for any employer, we used to receive as per the pay frequency a pay stub, and that gives us the statement. Okay, this is what I earned for that particular or that specific pay period, right? But when at the end of the year, maybe I'm working as a monthly employee, so I will receive per month maybe let's say $2,000 per month. This is what I am receiving in each pay stub. By the end of year, I will be receiving around $24,000, right? Dollars. This is what my income would be for the entire year, right? But when I say I received 24,000 in my pay stub, there is always two type of incomes. One is gross income, right? And number two is net income. So when I say I received in my bank account or I received through cash, that is 24,000. So when whatever coming to my bank statement or in my account, that is always going to be the net income or net earnings. Net earnings, that is what we used to say. It is the net earning. So what would be the gross? What would be the gross? Gross would be like when when it's the amount which is being deposited into my account, but this is not the income or earnings that employer giving me. Employer is giving me 24,000 plus taxes, right? Plus social security taxes. These were federal taxes. Then social security taxes plus Medicare tax. This all amount of 24,000 that being deposited into my account, then plus federal tax, plus social security, plus Medicare. These three taxes may be federal taxes were around $2,000, right? And then maybe $1,000 of social security, and Medicare around maybe $200. So if I plus 24,000 plus 2, 26, 27 and $27,200. That was my gross income. Fine. This is what we used to call CTC, cost to company. This is what the exact amount or my gross income. That was my gross income, but after all these deductions, the net income came to my account in the entire year. That was 24,000, right? Right. So in this case, this came to my account in net, but when employer is going to give me the whole year statement, they are not going to tell me what was my net income. They are going to tell me this was my CTC, that was total my earnings in the previous year. Out of this earning, I paid taxes, not me. If I am an employee, my employer is going to deduct all this money right? And after deducting that tax, all these taxes, they are going to pay me. My employer is going to pay me. Okay, so the net income is going to come into my account would be this. But when employer is going to say that this is the money, or this is what your entire year's earning, that would be my gross income, and that would be this. Total gross income is going to be 27,200. Before from this amount, federal taxes, social security and Medicare taxes, those were deducted by the employer each time, and then they paid me, or then they deposited in my account. That was 24,000. Okay. However, these calculations will appear on my pay stub, but when they are going to give me the W2 statement, right? Then W2 statement, it is also going to reflect everything, how much money, what was the gross income that I earned, and what was the total taxes that were deposited into the federal or IRS department by the employer. Okay. Now, as I told you in this example, total income was 27,000, right? But net income came to my 24,000. Now, how as an employee, how I'm going to declare that how much amount that has been deducted by my employer, that amount has been paid to federal income tax department or income tax department. So this statement, W2 wages copy B, right? This statement is a proof, is an evidence that will be given by my employer to me. In India, we used to call it form number 16, form 16. It is the similar form in US, which my employer is going to give me. Okay, here is your statement, right? Here is your statement. These are your total earnings, and on the basis of that, I can send this form to the IRS department. See, this is what my entire year income, and this is my entire year's tax deductions that has been happened during the year, or this is what the tax I have already paid, right? That is how we used to pay, or we used to file tax returns. This is the one document that employer will be giving to the employee, and on the basis of this document, employee is going to file the tax returns. There are three type of copies that employer is going to generate. Number one, copy A, right? Copy B and C, right? And format could be anything. It's employer will what format they want to use. It's not, there is not any not any specific format for W2. W2 could be in any format. However, the information which has been declared by, which need to be given to IRS department, that is going to be the same. The information is going to be the same, but format means column. There is a possibility that taxes deductions is going to appear on the right side, left side employee and employer information going to appear. It could be like, first they are going to give the employee and employer information, and then at the bottom half they can declare the wages and other things. So there is no specific format for W2, but the information that need to be remain the same in all type of formats, right? So copy A, B and C. What do we mean by copy A? Copy A is going to be held by the employer. They are going to deposit that copy with them for the future record. Copy B is specially created to file the tax return. So whenever borrower or employee is going to file their tax return, that time they are going to use the copy B. Copy C is for employee's record, but when I will be filing my tax returns, then I am going to use the copy B. So because the copy B has been sent to the IRS department, so in that case, they whenever any employee or borrower, if they say that okay, I have earned, or my income per month or per year is this much, how I'm going to, as a lender, how I'm going to verify that? I need to check their W2, and maybe later I need to compare their W2 with the tax returns. That I will show you in my next video how we are going to compare W2 and tax returns, and how we are going to verify the income of wage earners, right? Good. Now let's see. So now we know what is the purpose of W2, why we receive it from employer, and what we do with that information, and what is the difference between the net and gross income, right? Now we are going to see the important terms of W2 that we need to consider each time whenever we verify a W2. There are a lot of other columns as well, but I have only written couple of, or few terms. Those are important and always need to be checked, especially from the lender side. If I am a processor, I am an underwriter, I am a reviewer, I am a verifier, auditor and working for a lender, definitely these are the terms which always need to be reviewed thoroughly. Okay, now the first one is employee SSN. Employee SSN means our borrower SSN. SSN number always need to be checked with other documents like 1003 from credit report, right, or these documents. So it is 1003 is filled by loan officer by borrower. Credit report is pulled by the lender. This is the one document which is coming from the third party, from the employer. So we can say whatever the SSN written on here, or this information written on this form, could be considered as a authentic, right? So whenever SSN, first of all the document should be compared with this W2 to verify the SSN number. Now when there is a red flag that if we need to check whether SSN is correct or not, so there could not be, SSN of any borrower could not start with 3 zeros. It's a 9-digit number that we know, right? It's a 9-digit number in total, but it never start with 30, right? Then it never start with 666, and it never start with 900. These are red flags. Whenever you see a SSN starting with 3 zeros, it's starting from 36, or the initial 3 digits are 900. Those are suspicious activities. I mean, you could get alert. Okay. Now the second number is employer EIN. Employer EIN means it's a tax number. That is employer. Wherever I am working, that my company's tax number is this. Tax ID number of employer or company where we are working. Now employer name, address and zip code. So wherever I am working, that name, address and zip code. Sometimes what happens, I'm just giving you an example on a different scenario. Maybe borrower has declared on the 1003 that he or she is living in the present residence for last 3 years. But when we verify the W2, it states, because it always going to come for the previous year, and their employer address is appearing different, right? Then we can cross verify it with borrower present address. Okay, if borrower is stating that he or she is living in Arizona, how this address could be from some other states which is far away from their present address. So we need, it's not like that every time it is going to be false, but sometimes, like borrower used to work from home, or maybe they are in some kind of online business, we simply need to go to Google. We need to check what is happening here, why borrower present address is in some other state where the employer address is in some other state. So we need to go to Google. We need to go through company websites, and we need to check whether they have different addresses in or different branches in the different states, or maybe the address is some kind of marketing where borrower used to work from home, right? So That is how we need to dig out each and every information. Now the control number is just a sequence number that is given by the employer, but it's not mandatory. If it's a blank, we are fine because it's just for employer record. Now next is employee's name, address and GIF. So it's again same like the employer name, employee's name and address is going to appear in this column. We need to cross verify it from the different addresses like the same. If employee is stating that he is living in the present property for the last 3 years, then previous year W2 show the same address, right? If it is not, then we need to question. It's an alert for us why borrower says stating in 1003 that he or she is living on the same address for past 3 years, whereas the W2 showing, previous year W2 showing some different employee's address for that year. So that need to be checked and need to be asked for LOX, why, some explanation why it is showing. So that is how we need to dig out again the information. These are the important some of the terms. However, there are more FGH, more columns, more sections are there, but those are not very much important, or we hardly go to those columns. So I don't want to get confuse you all with that information. So we will stick to what is important and what relevant to our process. Now move to the right side. Now we are going to, it was just informative. Now we are going to calculate it part. So let's start with the number one. Number one is wages, tips, other income. Number three, social security wages, and number 5, Medicare wages. Right? Now see that Medicare wages, that is number 5, column number 5 is showing 50,000 income. Social security wages, that is showing 50,000 income, but wages, tips and other income, that is appearing less than these two amounts, that is 48,000. Now the why it is different, and the most important thing, whenever we are going to consider the income from this W2 for the previous year, we are always going to consider the number 5. Okay, this would be the column or this would be the income we are always going to consider for the loan qualification. Whenever we are going to calculate, we are going to number 5, section number 5, Medicare wages, and from there we are going to consider this income for the loan qualification. Fine. Most of the time it is going to be the same, similar as number 3, but mostly you will see the number 1 that is actually wages, tips and other income, but that income is going to remain low compared to these two incomes. So the simple funda is we are going to take or consider earnings for the previous year from column number 5, that is Medicare wages. Now let's see what is the difference, why these are the different. Have you heard about the FICA? FICA. FICA is Federal Insurance Contribution Act. Under this act, every employer they need to pay, or employer need to deduct and employee need to pay Social Security and Medicare taxes. Now I'm coming back to the topic of the point why it is different or less. What happens? There are other contributions which borrower used to make, that is 401k. Have you heard about 401k or 403k? These are retirement policies, I would say. Most of the time employee used to take retirement plans from the employer itself, right? They deduct some amount from each month from their income, and that gets contributed towards their retirement plan. Okay, so these are the different retirement plans. So whenever it comes to wages or whenever it comes to paying the federal tax gives a they do not deduct or they do not charge tax for the amount that has been contributed towards the retirement funds. If someone has taken a retirement funds, whatever the amount contributed for the retirement funds, there is a limit, but still whatever the amount, most of the time it is going to get below that limit. So whatever the amount that has been contributed towards the retirement fund, government or federal government is not going to charge any tax on that amount. So let's say, but compared to when it comes to Social Security wages and Medicare wages, that tax always get deducted on the total amount, whatever total earnings, on the total earnings, whatever, like borrower earned 50,000 in total. So Medicare wages and Social Security, these taxes will be applied on the entire amount, right? So this will be on the entire amount. But when it comes to federal income tax will always be applied after deducting the retirement statement amount or retirement amount, whatever contribution borrower made towards retirement. Okay, getting the idea, right? So that is why it is going to remain low compared to these amount. Whenever borrower took some applied for retirement, or their earnings, some amount is being contributed towards their retirement funds. Okay, so that is how. Now there is one more thing. You can check whether the calculation part is correct. So whenever it comes to deducting the Social Security wages, most of the time it is going to remain on the 6.2%. So for the 50,000, I can see that amount would be around, on the basis of 6.2%, the amount would be around $3,100, right? And Medicare wages, it is going to be 1.5%, and on the basis of 50,000, if I deduct 1.45%, it is going to be somewhere around $7.25. Fine. So that is how we can cross verify, but it is not permanent that it is going to be always. You can check through the Google or from any website or any other website where you can find it, that what is the deduction or Social Security deduction or tax deduction for the current year. And also there are lot of red flags. So whenever we are going to have a session on the red flags, that time I will let you. We will go through those red flags, and that time I will let you know how to find out different suspicious activities. But as of now, let's remain on our main topic. So that is how, if someone didn't take any retirement policy, obviously these amounts are going to be the same. But if someone has taken a retirement policy, obviously this amount is going to be lower, but the Social Security wages and Medicare wages are going to include that amount also. So because this is the entire amount, so we are going to take it as the previous year employer. Okay. So this is all about W2s. If you come across want more clarifications or have any question, please let me know. You can write it into comment, and I will definitely try to resolve and try to answer your queries. Now, what other incomes that we are going to review? So we are done with pay stubs, right? We are done with W2. Now we are moving towards the retirement income. Okay, retirement income.